UnitedTV.org and check it out. Get so much more for so much less. So Kim wasn't available at the time we recorded the news today, but she does have this message for us. So here is Kimberly Gogan with the Office of the Guardian.
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Friday and happy day after the solstice and full moon. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. It's been an interesting couple of days, just based on anytime there's an alignment or a change, these guys, have a tendency to go a little crazy. But I don't think it's over yet. So let's talk about some news and some false reports first that are out there. Okay. There is a heat wave, usually lasts about 3 to 5 days, depending on where you are. And it started on the west coast of the United States, and it has been moving across through Europe. And now, I guess today it started to hit Greece, and it's going to move through the Middle East. And yes, the temperatures are probably 10 to 15 degrees higher Fahrenheit than they normally are, which is quite warm. And I understand that. However, there are people making false claims that the grid of the following countries, Montenegro, Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and Albania crashed, and that the deep state did it. That is absolutely false. If you know anything about this area or you've ever been to this area, then you'll know that there is, they are fairly poor countries. Bosnia and Herzegovina is obviously war-torn. They never go back and fix a lot of that stuff in particular areas there. So, it's a grid failure when it gets that hot in that type of an area. I wouldn't call it a grid failure. I just call it an overload. A lot of electricity being utilized in order to keep cool. It happens here in the U.S. It happened over in San Diego, where the power was going in and out, and that's in America. So Lord knows our infrastructure is probably better than there, but it is falling apart here in the States too. So nothing weird, nothing malicious there, no major attack. If you do not know, or if you do know, you might be concerned about this because during one of the steps of warfare in certain types of war would be that they would shut the power off. Then they shut the social media off and those types of things. So, but that is not what's happening here. That is not the case. There are also a lot of rumors going around that there's going to be an event dealing with Iran. If that money that we talked about on Wednesday came out, I'm sure there would be. But until that happens, I don't really see any of that taking place, at least not on a grand scale. Next false news. The Trump organization, Trump operatives, whatever you call them, has been putting out a fake Biden death certificate, which says that he died in 2018. Now, that is not the case. I didn't say he wasn't dead, but that didn't happen until much later. As far as the Trump organization calling Biden dead, that's kind of the pot calling the kettle black here. There's also some other interesting news that I wanted to bring forward because this is I think it's getting out of hand, and it is related to the Trump organization. But there is a woman, her name is Representative Spire, that put out a report saying that she herself is a survivor of the Jim Jones cult. She had actually gone down there with a U.S. representative back in the 70s in Guyana. For those of you that don't know who Jim Jones is, Jim Jones back in the 50s, late 50s to the late 70s was a major cult leader. He built an area in Guyana, the country of Guyana, called Jonestown. and he had a lot of members of his religious cult that lived down there on the site. He is the same person who had intentionally spiked Kool-Aid with cyanide, and over 909 people died in one day. Not to say that there weren't others that died previously. But he is actually the originator of the statement, and I know I've mentioned this before, you just want to drink the Kool-Aid. In other words, you just don't want to deal with something, or you don't believe something. Now, Speier makes a comment. Her name is spelled Speier, so if I'm pronouncing it wrong, I'm sorry about that, but you should look her up. She was down there, like I said, had been shot 5 times, almost didn't survive. She remembers what she saw down there, remembers, seeing all those people dead. She talks quite a bit about it. And so she knows firsthand what it looked like down there. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I can't say I disagree with her, and I can't say I'm not concerned about it. She makes a mention of a fan of Trump's that has attended over 220 rallies of his, and he made a comment to, I guess, the press or somebody, and said that suicide before Biden, which means that he would commit suicide before Biden would get back into office. And I can tell you, this whole Q thing, honestly, it's looked like a cult for me for a long time. It is weird how people just are so brainwashed with this thing. And I can't help but wonder if maybe there's not something to what this lady's saying, Democrat, Republican, or whatever. But, seeing that article come out made me really think about it. And I'm like, how many people, if it was ever announced that he had passed away, God forbid that it had been going on for 3 years and he didn't tell anybody, or close to 3 years, and nobody told anybody. But I can't help but wonder if there wouldn't be some kind of a massive response like that. I do know that there are a lot of people in the Patriot community that have kind of fallen away from following that group, let's just say, and partially because people like myself and other people are telling people, look, this, makes no sense. But Jim Jones, for those of you that don't know, was a member of the CIA. So Trump also worked for the Order of the Black Sun, or was a part of the Order of the Black Sun, went through the ceremony, did the whole, bad things to young girl, and there's some blood there and all kinds of bad things. No different than the leaked Hillary Clinton ceremony with the young girl that happened a few years back on the deep web. And I gotta say, it totally looks like some kind of weird mind control cult situation that's happening there. And knowing the SSP operatives, they, above anyone else, know how to do it. So, the Wednesday's news might come in kind of handy when it comes to some of these people that have been following Trump in the near future. Should this not work out, whether they'd stage a fake election or not, I have no idea. We'll see. We'll see what ends up happening with that. But I did want to mention that just because, you got to have some sympathies for these regular people that just aren't getting it. But there's a lot of people out there that are so diehard. I was listening to a friend of mine. I was talking to this friend who's a regular friend, and knows about all of this stuff, knows what I do, that kind of thing. But I was listening to this person's husband, watch the indictments. It was like a few weeks ago. I had called her about something else. And and I was shocked. I mean, he was so angry, he was swearing and yelling and screaming. And it's like his whole life was over. It's like someone burned his car down or something. It's a little scary. It really is. But this is also a person that bought an entire garage full of toilet paper back in the toilet paper crisis of 2020. So, I guess take it all with a grain of salt. But anyway, I just wanted to mention that real quick. Okay, more news. We did receive a few phone calls after that news, and the news is coming back for people that kind of really don't believe the deep state's going to pull anything off. So they kind of leak us information here and there, and one of them is the main programmer for BRICS. And he said that any hope they ever had of launching a currency of their own died within the last 48 hours. That's not a surprise based on our conversation that we had on Wednesday and all the work that's been done in the last couple of days. Also, the NSA hanging by a string, quote unquote. In other words, they really don't have anything left really to do much. So the light system is doing its job. Some of it's automated. Some of it is, obviously in cooperation with us all day long, every day. But we are burning, and I mean burning, anything and everything that we can possibly find right now that they could possibly do anything with, or that even remotely, even 100 years ago is connected to some military somewhere, even 1,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, some SSP equipment in the middle of Argentina. That was earlier today. Anything we can find anywhere that remotely they could possibly even use or screw up in their case and, is just going away. I don't know at this moment either the end result of what they're planning for solstice. I can tell you that over the last 24 hours, there's been a lot of attempts to do certain things, fake servers at the Federal Reserve, normal stuff. I haven't seen, it's been more about money and control than it has been bombing and killing and wars at this point. I know that they did show a lot of fake currency from the Mariana Project, as we talked about on Wednesday, to a lot of different countries to entice them into war. And when that went away, I'm not so sure anybody's going to move anywhere at the moment. So they did try, like I said, to install a fake server earlier today at the Fed to show some fake money to try to get a fake war going. I don't see that happening. Number one, the fake currency is not going to happen. Number two, I don't know how much longer people can, pay out and pay out and pay out and work and work and work without any funds. So, we'll see. We'll see how that works out. Now, as far as today is also a full moon and within 24 hours of the solstice. Technically not the exact times, it's a couple hours off. So, are they going to continue through the weekend? I do believe so, and thankfully so, because we will use that to our advantage, as always. Anything else that we could find that starts sending off a signal, so that's a positive thing. But today, early this morning, my time, probably about 2-3 o'clock in the morning, the solstice is not just the longest day in the year in the northern hemisphere. It also is a time of year where the central sun of source and anti-source, well, when it was there, aligns with the 0 point of the universe. So that is the point right between the alphaverse and the omegaverse and all its respective densities and so on and so forth. It's actually a whole density that exists there. The same thing existed in computers as well. And once that started happening, it actually helped us get over the hump, I should say, of this direct current system, meaning it pushed us further faster. It'll take some time to come out from that point and come back up to us. But I know that We're seeing a lot more progress in computers, a lot faster. We're now burning from the bottom up and also the top down, which is a positive thing for us. And I'm looking forward to seeing what happens over the next few days, because we will be there until Monday, as I understand it. So it doesn't move very fast during this time of year. So kind of excited about that. I'm also expecting to not have a quiet weekend with these people in full swing, hoping for some kind of a something from the solstice. But hey, what are you going to do? A weekend's just another weekend, another couple days ending in Y, and can't expect a lot from these people. I really truly think that there's something wrong with those people. I know they're human, but I just think that they're so pre-programmed that I don't think we're going to come back from this. I think you're going to lose them all before that happens. So, haven't heard about any progress just yet on those that have come forward to make an attempt to work together. We'll see what happens with those folks. I know that they said that they were setting things up. We'll see. I haven't heard anything in the last couple of days. I didn't expect to, because a lot of people, when there's some kind of an alignment like this, it's a kind of an all hands on deck sort of thing. So I know today's report is a little bit short. It's a little bit late. It's a lot late. I know, if you don't know, we changed the time that we record news based on deep state activities and problems with our connections. So I record at one time, Sunny records at another time, and it just seems to be a smoother broadcast. So that's why the news has been coming out late, a little bit late. So I apologize for that. But it seems to help us and production get things done. So again, I guess if you are watching this, happy solstice, happy full moon, if that means something to you. And have a wonderful weekend. Hopefully on Monday, I'll have the end results of the solstice alignment, and we really don't play into the full moon too much, but it's more the alignment with 0 point that we're looking for and looking for that boost. So it just started probably 12 hours ago. So it's not a lot of time, but we've seen a significant amount of progress in a short period of time. So hopefully I'll have some good results for you on Monday when we talk. Other than that, everybody have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you then.
Want to share news from you and